So why are some Black Americans anti-Mexican and anti-immigrant? It's a question that I've been exploring myself for a really long time, understanding and getting to the bottom of. So I'm gonna talk about that in this video today. Being someone who is Afro-Latino with a very Black Hispanic parent, I feel like I have a perspective that I'm gonna share that a lot of people, of course, don't normally like to speak on and touch on, but that's why your girl is here. I have a message to spread. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, bro. Mexican parents, which that's my experience because that's my background. Mexican parents, no matter what color, are extremely prejudiced towards Black Americans. And it is actually very common. It has been going on forever. And Black Americans are catching on to that. Let's keep the ball rolling with this one. When I first came here to the US, I had just came out of a very small village, Afro-Indigenous village. And of course, when I first came here, I immediately met African Americans and of course the white Americans. We all had an idea of what they were like. We wanted to befriend them. We thought it was awesome. As a minority living in another country, you think Americans are really cool, as opposed to someone that's more, let's say in Europe, they hate Americans. And even in some parts of, my country, Americans are not really welcomed or loved. But in a small or minority village, poverty-ridden places, Americans are a dream. And I think that's very innocent minded and a really beautiful idea to have as well. I don't think that's a bad thing, all right? I didn't know what being African American was. I didn't know everybody's background, even the white Americans. I didn't really know their history yet, right? I just knew everybody was from the United States and they were rich and awesome. One thing that I always talk about is kind of like, what is the movie Home Alone? That's my idea of the US, wealth and just white families. That's kind of how I had that idea. Of course, I know that's not true for all white people. So over time, when I started learning English and understanding things more, learning about history, of course, African American history, now I know that they didn't tell us the full truth about it, but, learning about slavery and learning about Malcolm X and Harriet Tubman and all of that, I was extremely inspired and I immediately became a really big explorer of African American history, the background of slavery and the result of the African American society we have today in present day, right? So I have that understanding now, and I'm a big, huge advocate and ally for my African American brothers and sisters. Now, I did see that my own parents had a lot of prejudices, ideas, stereotypes that they were told about the African American community. And then I started noticing that my friends' parents are the same way, and everybody's parents, and the elders were even worse. Like I was shocked, to say the least. To openly call Black folks the N-word, dehumanize, and hold them to the stereotypes that are straight up BS, not thinking of ourselves as one. That is something that exists and that I cannot defend. And even as a Mexican myself, a Latina myself, it's freaking bullshit. So back to my point, why do some Black Americans have or don't want to have an allyship towards Mexicans, Hispanics, or just the immigrant community in general? I'm not saying that it's okay to be inhumane, call us illegal aliens and doing the same thing. The majority are white folks who are being like this towards us, but there is this percentage of folks that exist and they're saying, do not fight, this is not your fight to fight, don't get into it. I wanted to share this really just kind of unusual perspective from a Hispanic as well. And this is the time where we need to all come together as one, y'all. Like, this is not the time for petty arguments and all that stuff, but it is a good time to start creating awareness, shutting down racism from your abuelas, your tias, your tios, your tu mamá, tu papá, everybody. Cut them off. Not like, come on. Do not be a bystander to the bullshit. That's all I'm saying.